Now, if you were to rebuild the team with the goal of winning a Stanley Cup, you're going to have incredible asset management. Whether that's free agent signings, trades, or draft picks, you have to maximize absolutely everything. Well, today, I'm going to make it incredibly difficult on myself, because not only am I not going to be able to make any free agent signings, we are starting with one draft pick being the 7th overall pick. Now, I'm going to be allowed to select one player here, and I'm going to have to turn this one player into a Stanley Cup team. After I bring this one NHL player to our team, I'm not going to be allowed to add any more players to the fantasy draft. I'm not going to be allowed to draft any players with the current picks that I own. Everything that we get moving forward has to come from this one player, this one guy that we bring to the team. And who is that player going to be? Well, we're going to start off with Jack Hughes. Now, why exactly am I starting off with Jack Hughes? Well, first of all, he's a 93 overall at 24 years old. He has high elite potential. He's going to be a guy who has a lot of trade value. But the main thing is, he doesn't have a no trade clause. He doesn't have a modified no trade clause. We can trade Jack Hughes wherever we want. So we are going to start with this one draft pick right here. This pick in the fantasy draft, Jack Hughes, welcome to the team. Now, moving forward, who are the players that we're going to bring to the team? Well, it's not going to be as simple as me just letting the AI draft the rest of my team. When I said I'm not making any more selections, I meant I'm selecting 0 overall players. So Eric Hartman, Ricky Lafleur, that's who we're bringing to the team. We are going to bring in a bunch of 0 overall players alongside Jack Hughes, and the goal is one day we're going to be hoisting a Stanley Cup with every asset coming from Jack Hughes. So I've gone ahead and added all of these 0 overall players to our team. Jack Hughes surrounded with a bunch of 0 overalls. It's going to be a while before we win a Stanley Cup, but I am confident with my asset managing abilities. It's only a matter of time before we're hoisting a Stanley Cup. So as of right now, the Halifax Hunters are looking absolutely chopped. Like, it's only 0 overall players outside of Jack Hughes. Now, in season number 1, I'm not going to be able to turn this team around. This is likely going to be a 4 to 5 year rebuild of us flipping assets. So with that being said, let's go flip some assets. Like, we have to trade Jack Hughes somewhere. I don't want to waste a year on his deal, especially considering he's going to have such a terrible season. His trade value is likely going to drop quite a bit. So let's figure out where we can trade Jack Hughes and what we can get for him. So we're going to make a deal with the Boston Bruins, and what this deal is going to involve is 3 first-round picks, Cole Caulfield and Evan Bouchard. Now let me explain the thought process behind this deal. Cole Caulfield, I have seen your trade value increase like crazy so far in NHL 26, and Evan Bouchard, the same goes for you. So what I'm thinking is we can probably acquire both of these guys. If I can surround them with at least 5 decent players, I think their trade value can increase a ton, and then we can capitalize on that next season. Or at least that's what the goal is. So Boston, can you give me 3 first-round picks on top of Cole Caulfield and Evan Bouchard? Is this a fair deal? It looks like Boston's accepting. Now we just need to get a couple more players. Now, in the event Boston just completely collapses this season, I don't want to trade their first round pick away, and I don't really want to trade their first round pick for next season either. However, in 2028, I would be willing to move this first rounder. So what we need to do is bring in 2 more forwards and another defenseman, and ideally we're going to find 2 guys whose trade value is going to increase a ton over the next couple years. And one guy who fits that criteria incredibly well is Nick Waugh. So let's go find Nick Waugh. So here's what I'm looking at doing with Boston's first round pick. I'm going to send that over to the Devils. Nick Waugh, Siplikov, and Lilyberg are all going to be acquired. That would give us 5 decent enough players for this upcoming season. It surrounds Cole Caulfield with a couple good players. It's going to surround Evan Bouchard with a couple decent guys. I'm just not 100% sure if a first round pick is going to be enough, and they're saying no. Now, do I want to give up 2 first round picks in this deal? Like, I'm not 100% sure how good of a team Boston's going to be. I feel like giving up 2 first round picks in this deal is a little bit risky. Maybe you can give me some draft picks back. How about you give me 2 second rounders? So I give up 2 first round picks that don't really have any value right now for Nick Waugh, Siplikov, Lilyberg, and 2 second rounders. Hopefully we can get this deal done. They're going to be saying no. I'll take one of the second round picks out. No, we're getting fleeced at this point. So how about I just take Siplikov out of the deal entirely? We just go for Nick Waugh and Lilyberg. Is this going to be a fair enough deal? Alright, we're getting fleeced here. I think regardless of how we go about this, we're just going to be getting fleeced regardless. So Siplikov will throw you back into this deal, and then maybe we can get a 3rd round pick. I would like to walk away with at least 1 draft pick. Can we get a 3rd rounder? No, we can't. No, like, we're really giving up 2 first round picks for Nick Waugh, Lilyberg, and Siplikov. No, this is the worst deal you have ever seen. Alright, so here is the goal for this season. Nick Waugh, by the end of the year, you're going to be an 87 overall. Cole Caulfield, you're going to be a 91. Siplikov, I don't know, get up to like an 85 or something. When it comes to M. Bouchard, become a 90 overall. Lilyberg, just do something. I'm not really expecting too much from you. Basically, all I need this season is crazy trade value increases from Evan Bouchard, Cole Caulfield, and Nick Waugh. As long as we can get that, we're going to be in an amazing spot. But until then, let's just simulate the entire season because we're going to be an absolute dumpster fire here. We're not winning any games. So while we lose every game, if you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. The year is coming to an end and I want to see if we can hit 92k subs by the end of the year. So if you're new to the channel and haven't already, hit the button down below. Now, of course, it really shouldn't be that much of a surprise that we're not winning any games this season, an 0-82 record. Now, when it comes to two specific players, Cole Caulfield and Evan Bouchard, did your trade value increase at all? I mean, Cole Caulfield only had 44 points and Evan Bouchard you only had 35. So yeah, I'm not really expecting big things from either of you guys. However, Evan Bouchard now has high elite potential. He didn't have that before, so maybe he actually did increase in trade value. Meanwhile, when it comes to Nick Waugh, he's up to an 85 overall. That's what I was looking for. Siplikov, what overall are you going to be? You're only an 82 overall. That's a little bit disappointing, but Nick Waugh and Evan Bouchard, both of you guys should have higher trade value now. So let's go ahead and move on to the draft and see where our pick's going to be landing. It looks like we're going to be dropping from 1 to 3, but that doesn't matter because I didn't get that pick through a Jack Hughes trade. So none of the picks I own, except for that Boston one, mean anything. Unless I am trading for the pick, I can't use the pick. When I said earlier, every asset had to come from the original Jack Hughes selection, I wasn't kidding. Not only does that include players, it also includes picks. Now, when it comes to trade value increases, I believe Evan Bouchard's did go up a little bit, and I even think Nick Waugh's trade value went up a little bit. But now it's time to get to the real fleecing. Nick Waugh, I'm going to trade you away. Now, where am I going to trade you? Well, we need to find an expiring UFA, a player who's about to become a UFA, because we want to trade for their rights, sign that player, and then trade them away after one season. Now, who is that player going to be? Well, I'm not 100% sure. Let's go find somebody. All right, now this is certainly an interesting one. Rasmus Andersson's about to become a UFA. We could trade for him. We could give up Nick Waugh and still get something back in the deal. But you know what? How about instead of giving up Nick Waugh, we give them like Lilyberg or something, because Lilyberg might have enough trade value to get this done. We're going to go 1 for 1. Unfortunately, they are going to be rejecting it. So Nick Waugh, I guess we will trade you away. Nick Waugh is going to be sent over to Detroit, but we might be able to pick up another player as well. Now, who is that other player going to be? Well, Tolvanen wouldn't be a bad pickup, but I wouldn't be mad with Kaapo Kakko either. Maybe we can get both of these guys. Is Nick Waugh enough for Rasmus Andersson, Tolvanen, and Kaapo Kakko? We'll send the offer over. They're saying no. I'll throw Lilyberg in this deal because I think this right here might be enough for us to walk away with all 3 of these players. I think we fleeced the Red Wings there. Granted, Rasmus Andersson was about to become a UFA, so I guess they got something for him. I guess it's working out for both sides. Now, Siplikov really didn't improve as much as I was hoping, so I'm going to send him over to the Islanders. We're going to get the rights to Mason Marchment. He's about to become a UFA. But on top of that, I wouldn't mind walking away with another player, maybe even Blake Lizotte. Like, he can just play some good minutes for me in the future. I don't need him to be a superstar. The Islanders are going to be saying yes. I think we fleece there. Now, we do have one more trade we have to make. That's going to include this 22nd overall pick from the Boston Bruins. Now, I don't think we're going to go for an expiring UFA, but instead a player that can actually help us in the future. So what we're going to do with the 22nd overall pick is I'm going to trade over to the Anaheim Ducks. Lekkerimäki and Denton Matejchuk are both going to be acquired. Unfortunately, they are going to be rejecting that deal. So I think more than likely that means we're not going to be able to bring both of these guys to the team. I wouldn't mind Denton Matejchuk though. So maybe we can get Matejchuk and a couple 3rd round picks. How about you give me a 3rd and 4th round pick for the future? So the 22nd overall for Denton Matejchuk, a 3rd and 4th rounder. The Ducks are going to be accepting once we sign Rasmus Andersson, Mason Marchment, and Tolvanen, and then trade Rasmus Andersson away and Mason Marchment away. I think we're going to be in a really good spot. We're definitely not going to be winning Stanley Cups next season, but we're loading up on some pretty good assets. Also, when it comes to the original picks that the Hunters own, I'm just going to make some selections like this. We're selecting guys in the 1500 overall range. All right, so there's a couple guys that we have to re-sign, 4 players to be exact. Rasmus Andersson being one of them. He wants a no movement, and of course, I can't give him that no movement. There's just no way we can do that. However, I can do 10.8 for the next 4 years without a no movement. We'll see what he thinks when it comes to that offer. When it comes to a Mason Marchment deal, how about we do $6.8 million for the next 4 years? I'm not 100% sure if he's going to be accepting that. If he doesn't accept it, I'll just give him a little bit more. Tolvanen, I'll do $3.2 million for 1 season. And then Blake Lizotte, we're probably going to be looking at a pretty cheap deal with you. 2.3 for the next 2 years. We can make that work. Now, is anyone can be rejecting our offers. Rasmus Anderson's accepting, Mason Marchman's going to be accepting, Lazat's going to be accepting. All right, we have nothing to worry about. Everyone's going to be accepting their new deals. Now, when it comes to all of these UFAs right here, we're going to have to sign a handful of them because we're still going to have 0 overalls on the team next season. So Rasmus Anderson, thank you for accepting a contract with the Halifax Hunters. Now we're going to trade you. Your trade value is actually looking pretty solid right now. Like, look how high it is. It's above Evan Bouchard and Cole Caulfield, so we'll definitely take that. Mason Marchman, I was kind of hoping for it to be a little bit higher, but you know what? You'll play this season alongside Cole Caulfield on the top line. We'll just make a couple more adjustments to this team, and then we'll be rolling heading into next season. I'm not 100% sure if we're going to have a goaltender for next season, but we'll work around it. All right, so here's what I'm trying to cook up. Rasmus Anderson over to the Florida Panthers. Josh Doan, Isaac Howard, Newman, and 2 first-round picks are going to be acquired. Obviously, Florida's going to say no to this. Like, trade values aren't even close. What if I take one of the first-round picks out, though? Can we get this done then? Yes, we can. Florida's going to be accepting that offer. We just got a handful more players that we needed. So our top line is going to be looking like Josh Stone, Cole Caulfield, and Mason Marchman. The second line is going to have Tolvanen, Capo Caco, Isaac Howard, Newman. Blake Lazat's going to be a decent enough centerman for us. I do think we need a couple more defensemen, though, so that's what we're going to use Florida's pick for. So what I'm looking to do with that Florida first-round pick we acquired is pick up Seamus Casey as well as some draft picks. Now, I don't really care too much about the draft picks, but I do want to pick a couple of them up. If we can only walk away with a third-rounder here, I guess that's going to be the case. Seamus Casey in a third-round pick for Florida's first. I guess we'll see how that trade ages. Now, there is 2 more trades I want to make before we head into next season. I would like to bring in a goaltender, and honestly, that goaltender can be Scott Wedgwood, and I'd like to bring in 1 more defenseman. And Chisholm, I think you can be that guy. So Scott Wedgwood and Chisholm are both going to be acquired. Now, what are we going to give up in this deal? Well, I have 2 picks we can work with, a 3rd and 4th rounder. Is that going to be enough for Wedgwood and Chisholm? They're going to be saying no. What else do I have to throw in this deal? I think we actually might have another pick. Yes, we do, and of course, it's the 3rd round pick we got from the Vancouver Canucks. I'll take the 4th rounder out. Is 2 third-round picks going to be enough for both these guys? They're saying no. They need a 4th rounder. Now, after I make this trade, we're not going to own any draft picks. However, we have a handful of players on the team now. Cole Caulfield and Evan Bouchard are about to have career seasons. Their trade value is going to skyrocket, and the next season, we're going to capitalize on that. So Cole Caulfield, I'm expecting big things from you this season, but not only from you. Josh Stone, Mason Marchman, I'm hoping you guys see some crazy progression. On top of you 2 guys, though, Evan Bouchard, I need you to take the next step this season. I need you to turn to an absolute superstar. Meanwhile, Scott Wedgwood, just stop the puck from time to time. I'm really not expecting you to do too much. Now, I think we're all well aware that this team is not going to be competing for a Stanley Cup this season. So once again, we're just simulating right to the end of the season. And like last season, we're just hoping to see some crazy progression. Now, I think everything is going exactly according to plan. The Florida Panthers, 4th in the entire league. We trade that 1st round pick away. When it comes to the Boston Bruins, oh no, we gave up a very valuable pick, didn't we? They're 28th in the entire league. That is going to be a very valuable pick, but you know what? It's fine. Cole Caulfield, 92 overall. He had 68 points this season. His trade value is probably skyrocketed. Evan Bouchard, what overall are you? You're a 91 overall. Your trade value is probably skyrocketed. Josh Stone, you're up to an 86 overall. Mason Marchman, what overall are you going to be? You're an 87. Things are looking up. Everyone progressed according to plan. Even Tolvanen's an 86 overall, but we don't have him under contract for next season, but that's fine because we can re-sign him. Scott Wedgwood, you did what you could this season. You even picked up a shutout, but we saw a crazy progression from everyone across the board, and that's exactly what we needed. The Toronto Maple Leafs are Stanley Cup champions. Before we head to the deadline, I want to hand out an extension. I should actually say I want to hand out a couple extensions. Tolvanen, I need to re-sign you before we get to the draft because there's a very good chance you're actually going to end up getting traded. So I give you 6.1 for the next 4 years. You're likely going to accept that. Then to Matejchuk, I'll give you $5 million for the next 3. There's actually a chance we trade you as well because I want to make a play for the 1st overall because it's the Landon DuPont draft, and if we can somehow get the 1st overall pick, we're getting somebody who has franchise potential and they're going to have a lot of value. Chisholm, I'm not giving you 3.1 though. You're bugging. So we don't have any draft picks at play here, so nothing really matters too much. However, I am curious to see what happens with the Boston Bruins pick, and that's going to end up being the 6th overall. You know what? I can live with that. The pick that we should have owned is dropping from 1 to 3, but that's perfectly fine because we're still going to get the 1st overall pick. Now, I'm not sure if Landon DuPont is going to be the only franchise potential player at play here. I can't guarantee that there's another franchise potential player. I doubt this guy's franchise potential. I know for a fact Landon DuPont does, so let's get the 1st overall pick. Now, I'm not 100% sure how much we're going to have to give up here, But Cole Caulfield, we might trade you away. Or we could just trade Evan Bouchard away, because he might be enough to get this one done. LA would have too many skaters in the organization. That's fine. Just give us a couple players back. We really don't have that much time left. I'll throw in Braden Yeager. Maybe he can make the difference in this deal. I'll take out that pick right there. Is this enough for the first overall? We need to add a little bit more. I don't know if we have a little bit more. Blake Lizotte, I'll throw you into this deal. Is that enough for the first overall? They would have too many skaters. Give me somebody who has no value. I don't care who it is. Noah Gregor, that's enough to get this deal. Now just accept this deal. There we go. We did not have much time left there. 40 seconds. We had 40 seconds to get that deal done. Landon DuPont, welcome to the team. I'm going to be honest, I don't remember all the assets we got there. I know we got the first overall pick in Landon DuPont, but what else did we get? Like, it was a rush at the end there. We got Braden Yeager as well. That was the other asset we got. And who did we end up trading away? We traded Blake Lizotte away. So now that we've got Landon DuPont on the team, let's trade him. He's not part of this team's future. He has way too much trade value. We don't have nearly enough players on this team. So let's go bring in like 4 elite players. All right, so this is what we're going to do with Landon DuPont. I'm going to send him over to the Blackhawks. Mason McTavish, Jamie Drysdale, Lafreniere, and Michael Misa. All of these assets are going to be acquired. A ton of elite players for Landon DuPont. Now they're going to say no to this deal. We need to add a little bit more. Now in the event we actually do this deal with the Chicago Blackhawks, should I try to get their first round pick? Because they would be a very bad team. However, their first round pick has a decent amount of value, so I don't really know if we'll be able to get it. So I'll throw Isaac Howard into this deal. It's Landon DuPont and Isaac Howard, Mason McTavish, Jamie Drysdale, Lafreniere, Michael Misa. That's a ton of big upgrades for this team. It's still a little bit low. If we have to throw in a guy like Capo Caco or something, I'm willing to do that. And you know what? I think that's going to be the case. Capo Caco, I'll throw you into this deal. This is still an absolute fleece for us. It's still a little bit low. Nah, y'all are getting greedy at this point. Seamus Casey, unfortunately, I'm going to have to trade you in this deal. They're still saying it's a little bit low. No, we just might not do this deal. Or maybe I take out Michael Misa and we just replace him with somebody else that can help us right now. Like Lafreniere wouldn't be too bad. He can jump into the lineup immediately. Shimashev's a young defenseman. He can join as well. So maybe we just do Landon DuPont for these 5 players right here. That's how you manage your assets. Now you can call it cheating. I don't care. Cale Makar for Mason Marchment. Technically, we can do this deal. We can trade for the rights to Cale Makar. And that is exactly what we're going to do. Cale Makar, welcome to the team. Jamie Drysdale, I'm flipping you elsewhere. We don't need you to play right defensive minutes for us anymore. We have Cale Makar. The fact that Columbus didn't give that man an extension, or they didn't clear up enough money to give him an extension, is absolutely ridiculous. Nah, y'all just lost one of the best in the game. Alright, so here's what I'm going to do with Jamie Drysdale. I'm going to send him over to the Philadelphia Flyers. Owen Power and Lysell are both going to be brought in. Unfortunately, though, they're going to be rejecting that deal. I would like to get one guy for our bottom 6. I guess I could technically pick up Pavel Zacha, but I don't really want to do that. I don't really want to pick up Pavel Zacha. Just give me a decent young forward. Even if it's just Easton Cowan can play 4th line minutes for me. So maybe that's what we'll do. Jamie Drysdale over to Philly. Owen Power and Easton Cowan are both going to be acquired. I think that works out for us. Now, after all these moves, we actually might have a complete team, barring a goalie. However, before we move forward anymore, I think we should trade Cole Caulfield. His trade value is so high right now, we should capitalize on that. Like, as great of a player as Cole Caulfield is, there's a lot we could get for him. So this is what we're going to do with Cole Caulfield. I'm going to send him over to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Tage Thompson, Cutter Gaucher, a 1st, 2nd, and 3rd rounders all going to be acquired. This is an amazing deal for us. We're a little bit off, so I'll just take out the 7th overall pick and we'll get this deal done. I guess I have to take out a 2nd round pick as well, but that's perfectly fine. We're getting 2 amazing players for the price of 1, but we're also getting a 1st round pick in the deal. Now I think we're actually going to move that 1st round pick, but then again, it actually has quite a bit of value, but I'm willing to take that risk. Now I've actually decided to hold on to that Columbus Blue Jackets 1st round pick in the event that it actually becomes a really valuable draft pick. Lafreniere, I'm going to send you over to the Washington Capitals. If we can bring in Mackenzie Blackwood, then our entire team is going to be complete heading into this upcoming season. Also, ignore how many low AHL potential goaltenders I've drafted. We have brought a handful to the team. Also, if Lafreniere is not going to be enough, I guess we could go with a guy like Capo Caco instead. I do think he has some solid potential. You know what? How about we give up Tolvanen instead? I'll do Tolvanen straight up from Mackenzie Blackwood. We can go 1 for 1 here, or at least we could go 1 for 1, but I don't want to do that. Give me a 3rd round pick as well. Washington's going to be rejecting this deal. We're a little bit off, so I guess we're going to go 1 for 1. So we have enough forwards on this team. We have enough defensemen. We have enough goalies. We're actually going to be running a competent team next season. Also, before I make this final selection in the 7th round, I just want to give a big shout out to Kyle Jones. Moose Jaw Warrior legend Kyle Jones. I shouldn't really call him a Moose Jaw Warrior legend. He really hasn't been with the team that long. But anyways, shout out to Kyle Jones. Now we have a lot of cap space to work with, so bringing Cale Makar back to the team, that's not going to be an issue. He's looking for a lot of money though, but he's going to be worth every penny. So Cale Makar, we're looking at around $14.7 million for the next 7 years. You can have a full no movement. I'm not going to trade you away. He's one guy I'm perfectly fine with keeping on the team. Chisholm, I'm going to overpay just to keep you here. I guess I'll do $3 million for the next 3 years. You are not worth that price, but I need a defenseman. Meanwhile, Noah Gregor, you're looking for 1.1. I can do that. So Chisholm's going to be accepting. Cale Makar is going to be accepting. We're actually going to have an NHL team heading into next season. I'm excited to see what we're going to be able to do. Also, I suppose I should re-sign Scott Wedgwood. He's a good backup for us. Now that we finished up at the draft, I don't think we're going to make any other moves. We'll just re-sign a handful of guys. Capo Caco, I'm actually going to hold off with your deal because I don't want to give you $8 million. The Ferrier, I will bring you back for 3.5 though. That's a pretty solid deal. Seamus Casey, I can keep you around at 2.8 million. That's a great deal as well. So I think more than likely what's actually going to happen here is we're going to keep Capo Caco up until the trade deadline. Then we'll flip him at the trade deadline, 50% retained, and bring in a handful of decent assets. Because yeah, as of right now, I'm not giving bro $8 million. That's crazy. When it comes to the rest of these deals, they're probably not going to be a lot of money. Brain Yager's getting 800k. Easton Cowan's getting 1.2 million. I can live with all those deals. But now that we've handed out all those deals, let's dive into season number 3 with an actual NHL team. Alright, so here's our team heading into season number 3. I think we're a playoff team this season. We have a decent enough forward core, a decent enough defense here, and a decent enough goaltender. This team is decent enough to make the playoffs. Are we going to win a Stanley Cup this season? Very unlikely. However, we can definitely compete. Alright, so right now the team is actually looking incredible. So I just want to double check with Capo Caco. He wants 8.6 million. Do I want to give him 8.6 million? I don't know. I don't really know if you're worth 8.6 million. 18 goals, 27 assists so far. You're -7. I just don't think it's worth it. So I think we're going to trade you. So the Halifax Hunters are flying 5th in the entire league right now, a 37-20-8 record. The offense could be slightly better and the defense could be slightly better. How are we 5th in the entire league with this goal differential? Okay, I actually don't know what to say about this team. They are significantly worse than I thought. Like, yes, we have a good record right now, but I feel like we shouldn't have a good record. Cale Makar is leading the way with 78 points. Mason McTavish 62. Tage Thompson 57. Lafreniere 57. Capo Caco, I'm looking to trade you away for a sniper. I think we have more than enough power forwards on this team. We need a sniper because I don't think we actually have a true sniper here yet. When it comes to goaltending, Mackenzie Blackwood 37 wins, 3 shots, a 908 and a 299. I can't complain, especially considering Scott Wedgwood hasn't won a game this season. Come on now, what are you doing? So Capo Caco, we're going to move on from you here. We're looking to pick up a sniper. Now who's that sniper going to be? I have no clue. Now, you know what? The more I'm thinking about it, Capo Caco, maybe I do just keep you on this team. Like, you're one of our better goal scorers right now. You have 20 goals, 28 helpers. You're an 86 overall. Like, yes, we have a lot of power forwards on this team, and we probably don't need that many power forwards. However, I don't really care what your player style is. If you can score goals for me, regardless of whether you're a sniper or not, it doesn't really matter. So, Capo Caco, we're actually going to hold on to you for this season. I'll give you the $8 million that you're looking for. Do I think it's the greatest deal in the world? Not really, but we'll make it work. Like, at the end of the day, as long as you play your role on this team, it's going to work out for us. So I'll do a deal like this. We'll do $7.6 million for the next 5 years. 7.6 really isn't that bad. So to finish out the season, the Halifax Hunters are the 5th best team in the entire league with a 45, 25, and 12 record. We're an interesting team because we don't necessarily have the greatest offense in the world, and I don't think we have the greatest defense in the world either. We are just kind of mid. Like, we are a very mid team right now. Look at a lot of the plus minuses. Denton Matejchuk -24. Yeah, this is not working out here. We need to make some adjustments over the offseason. Unless we go on some ridiculous run, win a Stanley Cup, we're probably going to be a first round exit to the Florida Panthers. Yeah, respectfully, this team just isn't it right now. But even though this team isn't it right now, we do have to remember, we started with Jack Hughes and only Jack Hughes. So we have built this team. We haven't scored a goal yet. Hold on. We haven't scored a single goal yet. We scored 4 goals in this entire series. We were shut out 3 different times. We're trading for snipers. We are bringing snipers onto the team. The power forwards are not doing their job. Like, what I was about to say is this team's really not that bad considering we started with only 1 player, and that player was Jack Hughes. We then proceeded to get shut out in 3 of our 4 postseason games. No, this team is not good. I don't care if we only started with 1 player. We have so many problems here, it's actually ridiculous. How on earth do you get shut out in 3 of 4 postseason games and only score 4 goals in 4 games? Florida wins the Stanley Cup, as they should. They shut us out 3 times in 4 games. I don't even want to look at stats. I don't want to look at anything. We're moving on. We're going right to the draft. I don't want to look at the postseason scoring because we're only going to look at 4 goals. One thing I am a little interested in is the draft lottery because we do own Columbus's pick, but unfortunately it doesn't look like that's going to be in the lottery, even though it had a lot of value at the trade deadline. Alright, Denton Matejchuk, I think you're a great player and all, but what was that plus minus I saw from you last season? Minus 24. Yeah, I'm trading you along with the 20th overall pick. We're going to bring in Dylan Guenther. I think we actually might be able to bring something else back in this deal, maybe a 3rd round pick or something, and we're going to need a 3rd round pick. So hopefully we can get that 3rd rounder from the LA Kings. The Ducks can be saying no because it's a little bit low. I'll take the 3rd rounder out. Dylan Guenther, welcome to the team. Now we're going to need a new defenseman here. So Capo Caco, I'm moving you. Or at least I think I'm moving Capo Caco. I actually might move Mason McTavish. You know what? We actually might make a handful of moves here. We're going to change this team up quite a bit. Alright, so here's what I'm going to try to do. Mason McTavish over to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Give me Jackson Lacombe and give me Martin Ferravari. Now these are 2 big contracts, but I think we can still make it work here. The Devils are going to be selecting that guy first overall. I don't really care too much. I'm more focused on this deal right here. They're going to be rejecting it. I don't want to give up Capo Caco as well, but we might have to. Or do I throw Seamus Casey into this deal? Because Seamus Casey could just get replaced by one of these guys. This is what we're doing. Mason McTavish, Seamus Casey, both of you are being sent over. Jackson Lacombe, Martin Ferravari are being brought in. Now I'm going to trade Capo Caco somewhere, and we're going to bring in another forward. We're basically going to trade Capo Caco for a different forward. So we don't really have any spare forwards, so I'm taking Isak Rosen out of the deal. Capo Caco straight up for Pavel Dorofeia. It's not quite enough. Alright, I guess we have to flip some players. So I will give you Isaac Howard, and then you just give me somebody else. I need someone of a similar overall but doesn't have quite as much trade value. I mean, I could just be really cheesy here and trade for like Jeff Skinner and get the rights to Jeff Skinner and then we can re-sign him, but I don't want to do that. How about Podkolzin? Could we do a deal like this? Like, can we do this in a hypothetical universe? I guess we can. So that's basically everything we're going to be doing heading into next season. We fixed the defense and I think we fixed the offense here. I'm expecting significantly better results heading into next season. Alright, so we don't have to worry about re-signing any of our NHL players. I'm just going to re-sign a handful of these 0 overalls for the AHL. I'm expecting this team to be significantly better heading into this upcoming season. I think we fixed a lot of the problems we've had in the past. The defense is better, the offense is better. Just score some goals in the postseason, because what I witnessed last year was an absolute disgrace. So it turns out I lied. I actually do need to re-sign one NHL player, Scott Wedgwood. Here's $2 million for winning like 1 game last season. Now before we move into this upcoming season, of course, a lot of the guys I trade for do need contract extensions. Pavel Dorofeia being one of them. He's looking for $8 million, but how about we do 7.7 for the next 5? So he's going to be sticking around. Podkolzin, I feel like you're going to be looking for too much money. I'll do 3.2 for 1 season. That's a little bit much for a bottom 6 role, but you know what, we'll make it work. Newman, here's 1.5 million. And then Noah Gregor, I'll give you like $1 million or something. You can have 2.5 million. No, you're bugging, but I need you on the team. Now, when taking a look at this Halifax Hunter team, I think we have to address the elephant in the room. The top 6 looks really good. The bottom 6 is questionable. The bottom 6 on this team is definitely not the greatest in the world. Our defense looks way better this season, 286 overalls in the second pairing, but I think the bottom 6 is going to be what holds us back. Also, Scott Wedgwood's dropped to a 77 overall. We will have to get a new backup eventually, but right now I do think we are improved from last season. We have a couple more snipers on the team. I just need these guys to score goals. If they can't score goals, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. Now, it turns out we made the right moves over the offseason. The Halifax Hunters, first with a 45-15-5 record. The team is flying, but 3.38 goals per game is just not good enough. Yes, the goaltending and defense is amazing, but I want more goals than this. I know this team is capable of scoring more goals. I just need to see it from them. Cale Makar, he's leading the way with 69 points. Tage Thompson, 51 points with 26 goals. Where's the goal scoring? We brought in goal scorers, and they are not scoring goals. Pavel Dorofeia, 18 goals so far. Dylan Guenther, 17 goals. What are y'all doing? Like, seriously, what are y'all doing? I brought you here to score goals, and you are not scoring goals from me. Mackenzie Blackwood looks like an absolute superstar. Scott Wedgwood's holding up his end of the bargain, so I don't think we're going to make any moves here, because I really don't know what moves we could make. I guess I will check in on a couple players' trade values, just to see if anything crazy has happened. Owen Power's trade values increased quite a bit. We actually might move him next season. Like, don't get me wrong, Owen Power, he's been a great defenseman for us, but I could probably get like an 88 overall player who has less trade value, and then we can bring in something else as well. But you know what? We'll hold off for now. His trade value is going to continue to improve. I wouldn't be surprised if it's even higher heading into the offseason. Alright boys, I need you to lock in here. The best record in the NHL, a 59-18-5 record. I don't care if you weren't the best offensive team, because you didn't allow any goals. 2.18 goals allowed this season. I am very concerned heading into the playoffs though. Even though we looked great during the regular season, what couldn't we do last season during the playoffs? Score goals. What did we struggle to do this season? Score goals. I think we know what's going to happen here. Although Mackenzie Blackwood was an absolute superstar and our defense was shutting everyone down, we're going to get disappointed here. Now Halifax, all I'm asking you to do here is score some goals. Just put the puck in the back of the net a couple times. Well, it looks like you're going to be doing that. We have already scored more goals than we did last postseason, but it doesn't mean too much because we split the series with Carolina. Game number 5 is going to be the most important game moving forward. We're going to win that one. Now I need you to win game 6. Win me game 6 because I hate game 7s, and we're off to game 7. Thank you, Halifax. You're doing a great job. So here we go. Game 7 between us and the Carolina Hurricanes. We were the best team in the entire league. We won 59 games, and we're currently on the brink of elimination, except we're going to score 3 straight goals. Jack Hughes couldn't stop us, and we're moving on to the second round. Now, like, we really made that significantly more difficult than it had to be. We could have just kept that simple, taken the Carolina Hurricanes down to sweep, but why would you do that? Why would you make the series easy on yourself? That just doesn't make any logical sense. We're moving on to the second round to take on the Detroit Red Wings. The team's looking pretty solid so far. Then we drop back-to-back games. Why on earth would you guys drop back-to-back games? Why on earth would you drop 3 in a row? Do not drop 4 in a row here. You can't do that to me. We're winning that one, so we're off to game 7 once again. If one game 7 wasn't good enough, here is another game 7. The Halifax Hunters taking on the Detroit Red Wings. It looks like it's going to be a scoreless first period. Moving into the second, they're outscoring us 2-1, so we're going to need a big-time third period if we want to win a Stanley Cup this season. Josh Stone, a short-handed goal when it mattered. Jesper Wallsted's the starting goaltender. We could be in a lot of trouble heading into overtime, but it doesn't matter because Podkolzin's picking up a power play goal. Why is he showing up for us? I have no clue, but he's scoring all the big goals. Like, that's back-to-back game 7s where Podkolzin has scored a big-time goal for us. We're moving on to the conference finals, and we have the New York Rangers up next. Now at this point, I'm just kind of expecting the team to make it to game 7. We're going to make it to game 7, and then we're going to win game 7. But in order to make it to game 7, we need to make a 3-1 series comeback because we're down 3-1. So Halifax, just take it one game at a time here. We can't focus on game 7 because right now we're not even going to make it to game 7. Because we lost 5-1. Yeah, so about us winning in game 7, that's not going to happen. Now, once again, we're going to lose to the eventual Stanley Cup champions as the Rangers are going to go on to win the Stanley Cup. But this season, we were better. We were scoring goals in the postseason. We made it all the way to the conference finals. I don't like how many negative plus minuses there are, though. That's not really a good sign for our numbers. Mackenzie Blackwood, 9 wins, 2 shouts, a 920 and 265. You were pretty solid for me. I can't really complain about your production. You did what you had to. However, Scott Wedgwood, I'm going to keep it a stack. You just played your final games with the team. We're going to need ourselves a new backup goaltender next season because Wedgwood's just not going to cut it anymore. Now, I think for the first time, we're actually not going to make any trades during the draft here. I'm just going to draft a bunch of players projected 800th overall. And then once we get to free agency, we're going to make a lot of trades because Owen Power's trade value is ridiculously high now. So we have to sign a couple players. Those 2 players being Braden Yager and Shimashev. Yager's going to be getting $2.2 million. Shimashev, I can only assume you're getting a really cheap deal, $1.8 million. That works for me. Now, before I go ahead and trade Owen Power, I do want to bring Tage Thompson back to the team. He's looking for $11.2 million, but of course, we need to save a little bit of money. So how about we do $10 million for the next 3? That's going to leave us with about $20 million in extension dollars. That is quite a bit of money. The Fourier, I can re-sign you as well, $4.4 million. How about I just do $4 million on the dot for the next 2 years? So I'll re-sign you as well. And then with everyone else, I'll just re-sign them at a later date, but we'll have enough money for them. But I guess one guy I have to extend right now is Mackenzie Blackwood, and he wants $14 million. Yeah, so I don't want to do that. But then again, he has been elite for us. But $14 million is crazy, so I'm not doing that. Alright, so when it comes to bringing in a new goaltender, we actually only have one option. Jesper Wallstedt. Jesper Wallstedt is literally our only option because apparently every other goaltender in the league that has a modified no trade clause doesn't want to join our team. So Jesper Wallstedt is literally our only valuable option here. So we're going to bring Wallstedt to the team. I don't know if he signed an extension. It doesn't look like it. There's no way you're asking for more than $14 million. So we're going to get Wallstedt in this deal, but I'm also looking at getting maybe a 3rd round pick or something. We should be able to get at least 1 draft pick in this deal. I'm going to send this offer over. They're saying no. I guess we're just going 1 for 1, but even 1 for for 1 isn't enough. Okay, what else do I have to throw in this deal? I know I can't trade any of my draft picks, so I'll have to give up a player. I don't really want to give up Podkolzin. Shimashev, I could give up you. Like, you're only a 79 overall. I'll throw Shimashev into this deal. That's still not enough. All right, Mackenzie Blackwood, we're going to hold off on giving you an extension right now. I'm just going to pray that you want less than $14 million later. So now that we're taking that risk, Owen Power, it's time to ship you out, because just look at that trade value. Oh, his trade value just completely dropped off. Okay, I would say at the draft, it was lining up with the L in trade value. Like, it was significantly higher than this. Yeah, that's a tough one, but Owen Power, I'm still going to move on from you. Okay, so all of that yapping I've been doing about us trading Owen Power, it actually might not happen, because there really isn't that great of options out here. Like, his trade value is a little bit high, but it's not ridiculously high. Like, here's Owen Power's trade value right here. We don't need a right defenseman, so I'm not interested in Brock Faber. I guess we technically could bring in Kevin Korchinski, but he's an RFA, so we would have to sign him. Thomas Chabot we can't even go with. Mo Cyrus a right defenseman. Jacob Chikrin, I guess you're one of the best options here. Unfortunately, we can't even trade for you because we're not in your modified no trade clause. Vince Dunn has a no movement. Sergachev's 31. Do I really want to bring him to the team? Not really, but we also can't even bring him to the team. Owen Power, we're going to hold on to because I don't have any other option. However, in saying all of this, we still need to make a trade because we don't have a backup goalie. Now I'm just praying that we're offering a fair enough trade. Laferriere for Zachary Bolduc and John Gibson. All right, we have our new backup goaltender, it's John Gibson. Zachary Bolduc is going to be replacing Laferriere on the bottom 6. We saw a lot of success with this team last season. I can only assume we're about to build on that. However, I do feel like a lot of the trade values have decreased quite a bit. Not really too sure why, especially considering we won 59 games last season. I feel like we're in a pretty good spot. Now, last season, we won 59 games, and the team is looking to improve heading into this season. But I just want to point something out. Every asset and every player you see on this team all came from Jack Hughes. We started with one player, Jack Hughes, and we were able to construct this entire team right here from Jack Hughes. That in itself is a pretty impressive feat. However, we're looking for more. We're looking for a Stanley Cup. Now, considering that we're just going to be running this team for the entire season, there's no point stopping at the trade deadline. We're not going to be making any moves, so we're just going to head right to the end of the season. All right, now we could be in a little bit of trouble heading into this postseason run. The Buffalo Sabres are first in the entire league with 54 wins. Keep in mind, they're first in the Atlantic Division. We're going to be finishing second in the Atlantic Division with 53 wins. Then we have the Toronto Maple Leafs third. So our first 2 rounds are going to be very tough on us. If we beat Toronto, then we're going to have the Buffalo Sabres up next. Luckily, the offense was way better this season. 3.61 goals per game. It's waking up here. Our offense finally knows what they have to do, and that's score goals. Dylan Guenther, 41 goals. Tage Thompson, 41 goals. Pavel Dorfia, 30 goals. As long as this continues heading into the postseason, we're going to be hoisting a Stanley Cup at the end of it. As we all know, we're taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs in the first round. No more disappointments. No more games where we don't score any goals. It's time for the offense to take over, and it's going to need to take over in every game. Now, these first 2 rounds are really going to decide what happens for our team. If we can get past Toronto and Buffalo, we'll be in a great spot. But right now, we are not in a great spot. We dropped the first 2 games, then the offense woke up. But as I was going to say, if we can beat Toronto and we can beat Buffalo, then I think we'll be the Stanley Cup champs. However, we can't even get past Toronto right now. We're off to Game 6 elimination. This team's offense has just been non-existent so far. It looks like we're finally going to start scoring goals, but it's still a very close game heading into the third period, but we're going to find a way to win this one by 1. So a Game 6 win is great and all, but it means nothing unless you win Game 7. So we have Game 7 coming up. This is a must-win game for us. We can't choke. This team has to be done choking. Newman and Lafreniere picking up goals in the first period. In the second, we're going to be exchanging goals. I need good offense and good defense in the third period. Can we get that? It looks like we can. The only reason we're winning this game is because we're exchanging goals in the third. We're winning this one by 1. I don't really have a ton of confidence moving into the second round. We really weren't that elite. Like, we kind of won back-to-back fluky games, but hold on, just wait a minute. The Red Wings in the second round. Are the Buffalo Sabres folding? No, we actually might have a chance here. Granted, if the Red Wings are beating Buffalo, then they're legit, but we have a 3-1 series lead. Win me one more game and we can move on to the conference finals. Do not blow a 3-1 series lead. Don't do that to me right now. We don't have to worry about it. We're moving on to the conference finals, and who are we going to meet in the conference finals? The Philadelphia Flyers. So things are starting to look up for the Hunters, but can we get past the Philadelphia Flyers? A Game 1 win is great, but we're going to be exchanging games. So you split the series, it's a best of 3 moving forward, game number 5 being the most important game, and we're going to win that one in overtime. We are 1 game away from the Stanley Cup final, but we have to go to game 7 first. Game 7 is going to be the deciding game. We're off to another game 7. We have been involved in far too many game 7s so far in this video, but so far I think we've won them all. We're picking up 2 goals in the first period. Moving into the second, it's going to be a scoreless one. Mackenzie Blackwood, I need a masterclass from you, and that's exactly what we're getting. It's a 3-0 shutout. We're off to the Stanley Cup final and a chance at finally winning it all. So it all comes down to this. One final matchup, one final round against the Chicago Blackhawks. It's a best of 7 to decide it all. Now Halifax, let's keep it simple. You see this 3-0 shutout against the Philadelphia Flyers? Do that in every game against the Chicago Blackhawks. Just shut them out in every game and we'll be Stanley Cup champions, but it's not going to be that simple. After winning the first 2 games, we're dropping 2 in a row. Game number 5 is going to be the most important one and we're going to find a way to win that one. So it's all going to come down to game 6. Game 6 is going to decide it all. If we win this game, we're Stanley Cup champions. If we lose, we'll just win the Stanley Cup in game 7, but we don't need to worry about game 7. The Halifax Hunters are Stanley Cup champions. We started with 1 player, 1 draft pick, which was Jack Hughes, and from there we turned Jack Hughes into a Stanley Cup caliber team. When the lights were the brightest, everyone on the Hunters found a way to step up. But I'm going to keep it a stack. Tage Thompson, Pavel Dorfia, I was expecting more from you guys. Considering you were our 2 big-time goal scorers, I was hoping to see more from you. Because when push came to shove, who showed up for us? Cale Makar and Owen Power. These were the top 2 guys on our team. I wasn't really expecting that. Cale Makar, I knew you were going to be a superstar. But Owen Power, I did not expect you to turn to a 91 overall defenseman. You certainly exceeded expectations. Cutter Gaucher, Dylan Gunther, you guys played your role on this team, but you didn't step up as much as I wanted you to, but who cares? At the end of the day, we're Stanley Cup champions, and why are we Stanley Cup champions? Because of this man right here, who is one of the best goalies in the league, Mackenzie Blackwood. 16 wins, 3 shouts, a 919 and a 264. You were absolutely elite for us in this entire video, and without you, we definitely wouldn't have been able to win a Stanley Cup. But you know who else we couldn't win a Stanley Cup without? Well, the guy that we acquired over the offseason, and of course, I'm talking about Zachary Bolduc, the St. Louis Blue Factor brought in to change the franchise, and that's exactly what he did for us. He was the missing piece all along.